There are only 5 ways to bring your debt to GDP ratio down. Most of them are socially, politically unacceptable. So I think we have to inflate it away. So
what are the 5 ways?
Well, the 5 ways are austerity.
Tried that.
Tried that.
Okay.
Don't like that very much.
All right. I thought we'd get that reaction. Very high real growth. Now that's the one that
Can't
we really
get
want.
We don't have that here. Is this real growth in the room with you right now?
I think you're showing a lack of confidence in Keir Starmer there because he keeps telling us we're going to have really high real growth.
It's been 6 months. He said growth, and there's no growth.
Well, I'll give him 7.
No.
So wouldn't that be lovely? So you can't rule that out. But I don't think real growth is really within the gift of the government. It's in the gift of the private sector to innovate and whatever. But let's hope that would be the one. So there's austerity, high real growth, default. You don't pay back your debts. Well, the problem with that is your debt is somebody else. Your liability is somebody else's asset. So Lehman Brothers defaulted in 600 billion. Well, that didn't work out so well. So on the whole, I don't think default is going to be the answer. Then there's hyperinflation, which anybody can do, but it destroys social cohesion, destroys the middle class, and frankly creates chaos. So most people don't choose that. And then there's financial repression, which is what I'm talking about, which is kind of moderate in between position. That's it. That's your 5. So I think we're going to end up with financial repression, which is higher inflation than we have had heretofore, but crucially forcing low interest rates at the same time. And that's how you're going to try and solve it. So when China emerged, debt to GDP it seemed quite high at the time. It was chicken feed compared to where it is now. So we're in a structurally completely different place. We need a different policy. So
if I just want to come back to this point again, because I think it's quite scary, like people listening to some of these points. If we find ourselves in an environment that's high inflation, low interest rates, you think borrowing money is good in that environment?
Yeah.
The buy-to-let market might kick up a gear again.
Yep.
A lot of people running out of that space at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah. That's what would happen. It depends how quickly. We mentioned him twice now. Keir Starmer can build homes. I think you're both skeptical about that as well.
Bit.
I mean, they, with the Cambridge project, it was like, we're going to build 150,000 homes over the next 30 years or something. I was like, please, I'll build them quicker than that.
Get the boys done, we'll get it done.
So I on that issue, I share your skepticism. So I think, houses are going to be okay. Look, they can be okay in real terms, but not nominal terms. People need to think about this. In the 1970s, people will tell you, I bought a house in Hampstead for £2,000. And by the end of the 1970s, it was worth 100,000, or let's say £7,000. What you find, if you look at the data, you find that the house price basically went up in line with inflation. But if you borrow the money to buy it, you made an absolute fortune.
You get leverage because someone else's debt.
So although the house price may only have risen with inflation, you made an absolute fortune, and that's because you borrowed the money to buy it. So I hope people don't listen to this and rush out and take out huge mortgages.
I just done that the other
But
way.
on the whole,
Literally just did that.
That's what happened in the 70s. So it's not saying that you're going to make a lot of money out of house prices in real terms. Back to our 6.5% real on equities. It's saying you might just keep up with inflation, but if you borrow to do it, then you're probably going to do pretty
because you see, if the house price goes up 10%, you get all of that benefit, and you've only put in 25%, say, of the deposit. Yeah, this is the whole reason I'm buying. I bought a buy-to-let.
Yeah. But then you complained about how stressful it was the next day.
Well, I mean, if I wanted to buy equities, theoretically, I could put 50 million into the market pretty much free in 10 seconds. To buy a property, it's like they want 50 million quid out of me to buy it. Like the fees and the barriers are horrific.
Absolutely. That's one, and the other beautiful thing about equities, you can change your mind tomorrow morning.
Yeah, which is a bad or a good thing, depending on how you look at it, right?
Yeah, we discussed that, absolutely.
By the time I tried to sell the property, I might have calmed down a little bit, whereas I can sell my whole portfolio on the toilet in 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's a modern problem.
Always with your portfolio on the toilet.
Where else are you looking at it?
Everywhere.
Where else are you looking at it?
Well, at least it's not down the pub after 6 pints. That's even more dangerous.
That was a clip from our full-length conversation with Russell Napier, who's a financial history expert. If you want to watch the full interview, you can check it out right here.